The birth of a revolutionary idea. In the mid-1970s, video games were rapidly gaining popularity, but most systems were limited. Consoles like the original Magnavox Odyssey or the early Pong machines had all their games built directly into the hardware. If you wanted to play a different game, you had to buy an entirely new console or a different dedicated unit. This limitation frustrated engineers and gamers alike. At Fairchild Semiconductor, a young engineer named Jerry Lawson imagined a new approach, a console that could play different games stored on separate, interchangeable cartridges. This idea would transform video gaming from a niche novelty into an entire industry. The creation of the Channel F Fairchild Semiconductor, known for making microchips, saw potential in Lawson's idea and backed his project. The result was the Fairchild Video Entertainment System, later renamed the Channel FF for fun. Released in November 1976, the Channel F became the first home console to use programmable ROM cartridges. Instead of buying new hardware, players could now collect cartridges and instantly swap between games. This innovation laid the foundation for nearly every major console that followed, from the Atari 2600 to the PlayStation and beyond. Jerry Lawson, the unsung pioneer. The Channel F's greatest legacy is tied to Jerry Lawson, one of the few African-American engineers in Silicon Valley at the time. As the lead designer of the console, he created not only the hardware but also the concept of the removable cartridge-based system. Lawson's work changed the economics of gaming. Instead of consoles being disposable fads, manufacturers could now release a system and make money by selling a growing library of games. This business model still drives the gaming industry decades later. Sadly, Lawson's contributions were overlooked for years, but today, he is recognized as one of the true pioneers of home gaming. Technical specs and hardware design. The Channel F wasn't just innovative because of its cartridges. It was also the first console to use a microprocessor, the Fairchild F8 chip, allowing for more complex gameplay than earlier hardwired systems. The console had 2 kilobytes of RAM and displayed games in color at a resolution of 128 by 64 pixels. While these numbers seem tiny by today's standards, they were groundbreaking in the mid-1970s. Its 2 detachable controllers were also ahead of their time. Shaped like thick TV remotes, they featured a multi-directional joystick that could be pushed, pulled, and twisted, allowing for a surprising variety of gameplay inputs compared to the simple paddles of earlier systems. The cartridge revolution. The Channel F's cartridges, called video carts, were the true game changer. Each cartridge contained a ROM chip with game code, which the console could read and execute. At launch, players could choose from games like Video Blackjack, Space War, and Tic-Tac-Toe. Over time, Fairchild released 26 official video carts, each offering a unique experience. This system gave gamers a sense of freedom and variety they had never experienced before. Instead of being tied to 1 or 2 built-in games, they could expand their library over time. This approach made consoles more like platforms, a standard that became the blueprint for the entire gaming industry. Built-in games and color graphics. Unlike many later cartridge-based systems, the Channel F also included 2 built-in games, hockey and tennis, which could be played without inserting a cartridge. This feature gave new owners immediate entertainment out of the box. Equally important was the console's use of color graphics, a huge leap forward in the mid-1970s when most home games were still black and white. Simple as the colors were, they added excitement and visual appeal that helped differentiate the Channel F from earlier consoles. Early game library and innovation. The Channel F's library wasn't large, but it was innovative for the time. Many cartridges contained multiple games or game variations, maximizing value. For example, Video Cart 9 included several math-based educational titles, while Video Cart 17 Pinball Challenge mimicked the look and feel of real pinball. Some games explored entirely new genres. Video Cart 18, Hangman brought word-based gameplay into living rooms, while Video Cart 20, Video Habyo Whizball introduced elements of sports and action hybrids. Though primitive by modern standards, these early titles showed that home consoles could offer more than just Pong-style ball and paddle games. Marketing and public reception. Fairchild initially marketed the Channel F as a family-friendly entertainment and educational system. Ad campaigns emphasized its versatility, from arcade-style games to math quizzes for kids. When it launched, the console sold for about $169.95, roughly $900 in today's money, and cartridges cost around $20 to $30 each. This was a significant investment for households, but the promise of expandable gaming made it attractive to early adopters. Although the Channel F earned respect for its innovation, it faced challenges. Fairchild lacked the strong marketing muscle of competitors like Atari, and the library of games grew slowly compared to rival systems. As a result, the console's early momentum soon began to fade. Competition from the Atari 2600. In 1977, just a year after the Channel F's debut, Atari launched the video computer system, later known as the Atari 2600. Atari's console used the same cartridge concept pioneered by the Channel F, but came with better graphics, smoother gameplay, and more aggressive marketing. Atari also secured licenses for popular arcade games, giving it an edge in software that Fairchild couldn't match. While the Channel F had a head start, the Atari 2600 quickly became the industry leader, outselling Fairchild's console by a huge margin. This competition marked the beginning of the end for the Channel F's commercial dominance, even though its core innovation lived on in Atari's success. Decline and the end of production. By 1979, Fairchild sold the Channel F division to Zircon International, which attempted to keep the console alive with new cartridges and minor hardware updates, sometimes referred to as Channel F System 2. However, by the early 1980s, the market was crowded, and with more powerful consoles, like the Intellivision and the ColecoVision. The Channel F's aging technology and modest library couldn't compete. Production eventually stopped, and the console faded from store shelves. Despite its relatively short commercial life, selling an estimated 250,000 to 500,000 units, the Channel F had already cemented its place in history as a trailblazer. Legacy and impact on the industry. The Fairchild Channel F may not have been a long-term commercial success, but its impact on gaming is immeasurable. By proving the viability of programmable cartridges and introducing the microprocessor-based console, it laid the foundation for the future of home gaming. Jerry Lawson's vision showed that consoles could be platforms rather than one-off toys. Every major console since, from the Atari 2600 to the NES, Sega Genesis, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, owes part of its success to the concept born with the Channel F. Today, retro gaming enthusiasts celebrate the console for its historical significance. Collectors prize its cartridges and hardware, and it remains a symbol of an era when innovation was driven by bold experimentation. Lessons from the Channel F era. The story of the Channel F teaches us that innovation alone isn't enough to win in the gaming industry. While Fairchild introduced groundbreaking ideas, it lacked the robust marketing, developer support, and strong library of games needed to dominate the market. It also highlights the importance of timing. Had the Channel F launched a few years later with more powerful hardware and a deeper library, it might have maintained its lead over Atari. Nonetheless, the console's pioneering achievements continue to be recognized, and its contributions laid a solid foundation for the thriving global video game market we see today.